Hey Vault Dwellers, JV here, and today I'm sharing the update 1.0.1 patch notes for Fallout 76. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 videos just like this. This update is being pushed to players as I'm recording this video on November 19th. It's 48 gigabytes on Xbox and 47 on PS4. Only 15 gigabytes on PC. At the time of recording, we're not sure how long the servers will be down for maintenance, but obviously, I'd start the update as soon as you can. Side note, Bethesda did warn us a few days ago that this update would be much bigger than usual, and we should not expect to basically re-download the game every time we have an update. It's annoying, I know, but let's keep that in mind since the game has only been out less than a week. If you'd like to check out the patch notes for yourselves, as always, you can find a link in the description below. The focus of this patch is to address performance, stability, and bug fixes. As I put in all caps in the title, there is no stash limit increase. I wanted to make that very clear because Bethesda already told us that it wouldn't be coming today, so don't get your hopes up, it's not here yet. Starting in the general section with performance, we have several issues have been addressed to resolve hitches during gameplay and other performance issues. For stability, the game client and servers have received additional stability improvements, and on Xbox, they fixed an issue that could lead to instability on certain menus. Long story short, from my experience, the game does not run well on Xbox, so I sincerely hope that these improvements make a difference. My game has crashed probably 5 to 10 times since launch on an Xbox One X, and a lot of the times when I pull up a crafting menu or I pull up my map, the game pauses for like 5 seconds at a time. I know it's still running because I can hear the radio, but still I can't do anything, and it's a little frustrating, so I hope these address those issues. Moving on to bug fixes with the art and graphics. For ambient occlusion, when you have items just out in the world, you would pick them up and they would leave shadow outlines. That should no longer happen. The game camera now pans more smoothly when you're entering furniture. That's been fixed. And the cover of Tesla Science Magazine issue 9 no longer appears solid red on pickup or when inspected. Very specific issue that has been fixed. I definitely noticed the ambient occlusion issue, not the other two, so I'm glad that's been addressed. Now for bug fixes with enemies, there was an issue in which some enemies would chase the player further than intended. That's been addressed. And then Ghoul and Scorched officers now correctly drop nuke code pieces upon being killed by a player. I noticed both of these. The aggro range seemed very long when I was just trying to run away from a group of ghouls, and so glad that's been addressed. And also the code pieces. I would come across lots of officers who just weren't carrying a code piece, and if you're trying to put those code pieces together for a nuke, for deciphering them so you can actually launch it, that was an issue. I'm glad they've fixed it. For camps, workshops, and crafting, there was an issue where blueprints would break apart if you logged out and back in. That's been addressed. Paints applied to power armor during the beta now correctly appear on those items, and you can put them on other sets of power armor, which is nice. And then finally, there's an issue that would cause an item to return to a broken state after being repaired. You won't have that anymore. I'm going to take this moment to say I told you so. This is something I complained about. I was saying that when you made a blueprint, it would come back in smaller pieces, and I had so many people telling me that's just how it works. No. That was a problem. That was a bug. This has been fixed now. So if you're blueprinting your entire camp as a whole structure, when you want to move your camp, you will now be able to place that down as the entire structure, not in little 1x1 floor pieces like before. The single quest bug that has been fixed is for the Bureau of Tourism quest. The Prickett's Fort token dispenser can now be repaired, and players can no longer walk through it. This was a widespread bug that I believe affected most, if not everyone, who tried to do this quest. It's been bugged for a while now. I actually have not done this quest, surprisingly, so I haven't experienced it myself, but I'm happy it's fixed. There are a good amount of PvP bug fixes. First off, with pacifist mode, if you engage in PvP by contesting a workshop, now you'll deal full damage to that player as long as they're hostile. If you want to respawn after losing a PvP fight, that'll now clear active hostile status with other players. Glad that's going to work correctly now. Cap rewards will now display correctly when you use the Seek Revenge option after being killed. And when someone is seeking revenge against you, the reward amount will now display correctly on your screen, that you'll get for killing that player. Since launch and really throughout the beta, I haven't engaged in a lot of PvP, so I haven't noticed these issues, but glad they're fixed. The final section for these update notes is for the UI. We've got Korean fonts now displaying correctly. That's great. The Take Photo hotkey can no longer be rebound and is now tied to the spacebar on PC and A button on controllers. That's kind of weird to me. That's also tied to an issue that would cause the take snapshot button in photo mode to display an incorrect hotkey. I guess you don't need access to a lot of other buttons while you're trying to take a picture, but flexibility is always nice. And then they've fixed issues with the social menu. One would cause players to disappear from other social menus if you both sent a friend invite. I think a lot of people were running into that. And then finally, newly equipped player icons will now display from other players in the social menu when they've done so. That is it for the first patch after launch for Fallout 76, and there were a lot of specific issues, which are nice, right? But there are so many more. There is a long laundry list of issues that are affecting this game. Off the top of my head, perks like Fix It Good are not working properly. Carry weight is changing for no reason. The game locks up, like I mentioned before, for several seconds when you're in workbenches or when you pull up a map, or there's severe lag when I'm playing in a full group of 4. I swear I was pulling less than 10 frames per second on my One X when I was going for a nuke over the weekend. Also, the game slows down to an absolute crawl whenever there's a Scorch Beast in the air. It's like it can't handle it. The main focus of this patch is supposed to be performance and stability, and I sincerely hope those improvements are reflected. I've mentioned many times that I believe the long-term sustainability and survivability of this game is going to be determined by how often they can push out updates. But now that I played the game for a week after launch and really sunk my teeth in, I think it's stability. I think it's performance. This game needs to be risen to another level. It needs to run better. Otherwise, I don't think people are going to be playing for a long time. My tone might have shifted over the last few videos, and that's because I had one of those moments over the weekend where I was like, man, this really sucks. Like, this game is chugging along and I'm not enjoying it. It's actively preventing me from enjoying it. And so I really hope this stuff is at the top of their priorities right now, above any new features or any other things that they're working on. In the comment section, tell me what is your priority for fixes. Is it the stash limit or is it the performance and other bugs? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 content like my last video where we review the Scrapper perk. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.